Hey, welcome back. I'm going to be brief because piddling it down. That is not going to be suitable for an outboard or clip-on wheels. Why? Because I just don't want to wreck anything. Simple as that. So this one I'm going to save mainly for the tidal rivers, because I think this is the perfect craft for that. But it now leaves me with a massive problem, because I need another canoe, and it needs to be free of charge, because we just don't have any more money left to play with. We've got the trolling motor, we've got plenty of wheels. I'm going to make a cradle that clips on, totally against any idea I had, but that's the only way forward for this, really. I just don't want to wreck it. It's such a nice canoe, or kayak, sorry. We've got some wheels there, we've got some wheels down there, we've got the trolling motor in there. Right, we need a free canoe to play around with, preferably. Hey, 3 hours, 30 minutes and 20 odd seconds later, I now have a free of charge. Cost me just the fuel to get it, 10 quid. But don't tell the wife. Is there any particular reason why you just had to do that? No? You don't know. Anyway, fiberglass. This is the one I'm altering. This is staying as is. I'm not touching this. The only thing I might try and do is look into getting a rudder or a skeg. Yeah, anyway. A rudder or a skeg. Rudder means that drops down, it locates into there, and it moves via cables fed through there. I don't have foot controls that I'm aware of. I found everything I need to know about the back part, I just can't find nothing out about the front part. So, and it's mainly for windy weather, in case I get out onto an estuary and I get round the corner and a gale wind blows up. That all well can be a very unpredictable river at best. So yeah, we'll possibly make a trolley or buy a trolley instead. However, this one, I have to build and modify something. That wouldn't be me if I didn't. It's very basic in its design, extremely basic in its design, but I can do a lot with this. Right, the plan is to take the blue top off, because it does separate, and we're going to cut a couple of holes in the front here with some lockers. Now, I haven't made my mind up yet to whether I'm going to attempt to bulkhead across. I need to sit in this. What I like to do, if the dog will let me. Anyway, what I would like to do. Oh, you're putting me off, Diesel. This is all for your benefit. You know that? It's all for your benefit. Anyway, I'd like to cut that hole out about halfway there and literally just shift it down a little further, so I've got a little bit more of an open gap, because we're not putting any kind of weather apron or whatever they call them. We're not putting any of that on this. This is just so I can get in and out. I'm also considering raising the side height up a little bit as well. I want to put a small seat in, something very similar to what sits in there actually, so my arse is not sitting on the floor getting soaking wet, because it's going to have an open cockpit, so every time the paddles move you will get the odd splash from time to time. Bulkhead it off somewhere around here, and then the back, we are going to cut the back. I don't want the pointy bit. That's not what this is about. So we'll cut an angle in and so it sloops a little bit, I think is the term. And then we're going to put that outboard motor on the back, and then behind the seat there'll be a cubby hole for a battery. That may very well be a fiberglass box that will get glassed in with a lid, and then there'll be some net and elastic on the back, cargo elastic, some elastic on the front, a strap to go over the lid, and that is pretty much it. It's almost a week later. Old Diesel here is no longer limping. We got him on some, I mean, he's still holding the foot up. I just took him for a walk actually, but he's good. He's good for the moment. Still needs an operation though. And I'm still working my butt off trying to get it to the point where I can do some videos and keep the momentum of the fundraising going. Now, I ripped the lid off. Let me put this camera somewhere. There's the lid. And I'm glad I did, because it is pretty damaged, this hull in places. Numerous repairs. There is areas where it's been repaired several times. We've got one there for starters. I don't know what's going on, like epoxy. Where else? No, I don't think that is. Another one there, I think. Possibly, possibly not. I did see some others. I can't see them now. Maybe it was mud I was looking at. I did give it a clean out, but it hasn't really cleaned out as well as I'd like it to. So, what am I going to do with this? I think it's a kid's canoe. And this I don't even know what it's called. There's a bit that goes around that. There's a plastic unit that's missing. It sits a bit low in the water for somebody of my weight. But I did have a look online last night just to give myself an idea of what I'm up against. The river canal, stroke river canal, whatever you want to call it. The distance I've got to travel in this or in the other one, whichever I decide to take on the day, from my starting point on the map to my house, if I go by road, it's 19 miles. I would imagine with the windy river we're probably looking close to 15 to 20 miles as well. So we've got a long old route, and I came to the conclusion I was not going to be doing this in a day. And I reckon I'm going to be doing it with both boats. I reckon I'll have to have the sea kayak and this kayak on the car roof. I'm going to have to find somebody that is legally allowed to drive my pickup truck, I think, and we'll have to load both canoes up. Put this one in the water first because it's smaller, because some of the river is like just streams. I'll be walking half of it, I think. And the portages, there's going to be a lot of those. There's a lot of obstacles. I'm not really sure what's going on. I've looked at Google Earth, and there is a lot of obstacles that I just can't seem to zoom into. And I'll be going through people's back gardens by the looks of it, so I'm probably going to get yelled at if I miss the portage that I need to get on. I could end up drifting through someone's yard by mistake. In one area before Stowmarket there is 2 river gippings. One of it comes round and you've got a house, and it seems or something over the top of the river, and there's a big patch of mowed grass that looks mowed, and then there's another bit of river that goes round and twists around and rejoins. If I can remember to portage at that point, then I'll have a go at going round, and that could be a spillover, a winter spillover. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how at the moment, but that's got to be blocked off on the inside right up as far as there, because the plan is to follow that line there straight round. That slopes down. I've given this extra height, and I've got the offcuts from the other side over here, so they're going to get screwed in there, and then we'll follow that through with some scrap run a piece of wood across the inside just to reinforce it, and then these screws are all coming out because we're going to do that on the inside as I've done here, and we'll cut those flush, foil tape the inside up just because it's good stuff and it holds, and then we'll glass the outside edge to that line as carefully as I can once I've cleaned that area up. And once I've done that, we'll then get inside with a sander and we'll just clean up all the rubbish inside, and we'll put a couple of layers on the inside, but we'll bring them right down low just to spread the load a bit. And the other plan then is to take this cover plate, chop it across there, lay that back on the front on where this slope here is, across there. And I don't know if I'm doing this yet, but I'd like to be able to cut a hole out, layer loads of polyurethane or polystyrene in the floor, glass over the top, and seal that in with a bulkhead, and then have a cargo hold with nets over the top, and then glass the sides up to make it like a sealed container. But I don't know if I've got enough resin material so that I'm using what I should be using for the camper. I need to make a start on this because I'm not comfortable trying to accept people's money without giving something back. So I think these videos are going to come out really good. Some of you are not going to be into them. Oh, and I'm putting the trolling motor on the back of this as well. Okay. So we've trimmed it all up now. We've got the shape and the angles that I need. We are going to cut the deck part down. We're going to use the front, we're going to use the back, but I'm not sure at the moment how that's going to happen. But it is going to happen. I just ran out of battery power. I've got the stern and the bow curves done. I'm just debating whether I'm going to leave them in there when pulling the wood off or not. I don't know, because we need some strength there. I looked at buying one of these canoes as you see it at the moment, and they're about 300 quid-ish. They're not going very cheap at the moment. And then I thought about it. I got me sea kayak. Now, I've been watching a guy on YouTube called Ed Pratt, I think that's his name, that's been doing the Thames, and he's about to do the saltwater side of it. He has one of those, which I can only describe as a plastic canoe that you'd use for fishing and stuff like that. And in his own admittance, he felt like quitting several times because of the waves. And then I saw a clip of his next video and I thought, oh, I may have that coming myself. So the sea canoe, this is what I've made my mind up on. We will use the sea canoe for the oil well, no ifs or buts about it. And this one we'll use for the fresh. We'll probably do the whole fresh water with this. So there'll be no switching canoes until we hit the very last lock gate or weir on the Gipping, which I will then return home with this canoe, pick up the sea one, and when the tide is fully in and turning on whatever particular day that is, at whatever particular time of the day it is, we'll launch and then we'll head down subject to weather. I'm not breaking my neck and drowning for the sake of all of this, so just not happening. I've done some Google searching and I found what I think is the source of the Gipping up at Mendlesham. So although I'm too old to be ploughing through ditches and following the route, we will start off at that point in the car and we'll try and pick that route up as many times as we can until I hit an area that is navigable in a canoe. As soon as I find a point where I can launch, which is probably just the other side of Stowmarket, I will launch and all my kit will be in here. We are going to do one night's camping, so I'm hoping on the first day, if I get there early enough, I might be able to pitch my tent somewhere between Claydon and Brantford church area of the route, and then the next day we'll pick up from there. That's some serious miles I've got to do to be able to do it. I'm going to be exhausted, but it'll be worth it. So we'll pitch up somewhere along there, unless I find an area secluded where I can get away. I know there might be one that need a market and before that area, but I don't know. We'll see. We will have to camp. We're not going to do this in one day. I think there's too many miles involved, and we'll go from there, and then we'll come home. Now I am putting a trawling motor on. You've seen me do the work to it, which I'm very happy with, which is there. So we're going to modify that to fit on the back permanently. It's probably going to get used, but only going to get used once when I decide to pull the drone out of the box. It's hard to operate a drone and row at the same time, so I'll probably put that on and use my feet to steer and do the drone. And if I'm so tired I just can't do any more, but I need to go further to get to the camp spot, then it will get used for that. So there is a drone, there is a trawler motor going on the back with a car battery in there. There's going to be a set of wheels permanently fixed to it so I can portage with it without too many problems. And other than that, there's not much more, is there? I'm going to buy another neoprene life suit, submerged suit, which is going to get cut up. I'm going to get some neoprene glue. I'm going to make myself a couple of waterproof holdalls out of that, so I can put all my clothes and my camera gear in. And the front piece has got to go on in such a way that I can remove it or access it to pull all this stuff out. There's also a tent to go in here somehow. I don't know how I'm fitting all this in, if I'm honest, but there is also a tent to go on as well in here for that one trip, unless I get somebody to meet me at the point where I'm camping ready. It's one side done. It's not great. In fact, it started to lift in places. Not a lot I can do about it. It's not the smoothest of surface to glass to, but this is just the holding one. Once we've got the other side done, we'll attempt, this is the bit where it will go wrong on me probably, it'll just collapse, but we'll have to take the wood out after. I think we're going to struggle with those pieces. I should have put some relief slits in really, but I was concerned the shape would go. But anyway, morning, it's Friday, and it's peeling out day. I've already done one side. The only thing is I forgot to put my mark lines in for when I have to cut to get it squared off, but that came off really easy. The only problem is it has left a layer of wax, so I'm going to have to sand that back or find a chemical that I can throw on that to wipe it down, because of the next stage is to lay up the inside. And I need to note, look how flush that almost is in most places. I'm bloomin' chuffed with that. Right, marked it all out. I am having a very, very slow, lazy day today. So I've just got to get the grinder out now and trim that off. There we go. That looks a lot better. Right, what's left? Well, I can't do any more resining because I ain't got any. Well, I have, I've got a little, but there's no point starting what I can't finish, you know. So it's a weekend anyway. Maybe I'll get the sander out on Monday and try and clean some of that up, but I'm at risk of blowing through and creating unnecessary holes. So I think we'll leave the outside to the very last. The bow didn't go so well. Actually, that's the stern, we'll get it right. We'll put the belt sander over that, cut round once we've reinforced it a bit more inside, of which I don't know how I'm going to do that. I reckon it's going to be a dinophile down there. Yep, I reckon it's going to be a dinophile. So we'll cut that square off there and we'll take the paint off there, try and flow that in if we can. That's about the best I can come up with on that one. That's the stern, and there is an outboard going on the back of that, little electric outboard. So the bow is not too bad. Some nice thickness going in there. So yeah, I'm all in all, I'm happy with this. It's the layup that wasn't that great. I had some problems with it again. I misjudged the weather, and I catalyzed it again, and this side particularly went off really quick, and when it goes off as rapid as it does, it creates cracks, separation. I don't understand the process, but it's a nuisance. However, on this side never happened, because this took longer to cure because I put less catalyst in, way less. I was really racing time as well. There's no drawing pin in there. Look at that, there might be a drawing pin tucked away in there. I knew there was one somewhere, I just couldn't remember where it was. Right, so we'll just get these screws out now, and then I'll debate what I'm doing about this. I don't know how this is going to perform in the water. I ain't got the foggiest. I built the sides up for one simple reason. I'm a fat overweight git, and I didn't want to sink. My belief is this might be a kiddie's kayak, and there was a lot missing from it, and this had already separated, so it just made logical sense to me to convert it to what I wanted to convert it to originally. Anyway, look, I'm a big bugger, and I still think that hole is too small for me, especially with shot legs, because my knees are not that good. I ain't getting out of that in a hurry. So I think we are going to eliminate this, and we're just going to bring that around and across and make that a wider sweep, just so it's a bit easier to get in. We're not putting any kind of spray guard on that. We're bulkheading across there anyway. We're going to bulkhead across there. I want to put a hatch that you can lift here to access all that space for luggage. I have a battery that has to go in here somewhere, so I'm thinking it's probably best right behind the seat, just to spread the load a bit. Or the other alternative, if there's enough room for my feet, slide it in through there as far down as I can get it on a rail, a sliding rail or something. I'd like an access hatch, maybe. Actually, no, I think the best thing, because there's a flat spot there, we could get away with fiberglassing a plastic tub and its lid, and cutting a hole out and dropping that right through the middle and glassing that up on the inside, and then put some polystyrene underneath it to support it, and then glue that piece in place once I've got all the other stuff in place. So we do need to get rid of this and put a proper bracket on, definitely. Same with the front, and then it's a case of putting the wood trim in. I mean, we might not even need to do it on that bit, just that bit. We've got a plate to put on the back, the outboard, because that's got to swing in and out, and I want to do that electrically. Oh yeah. There's nowhere for it to go inside, because that will put holes where I don't want holes, so that may have to go on top unless I can figure something out. This is a bit of an engineering challenge, this one, because we do have, see, we've got this lovely pole. We could have a ram on the inside, get rid of that plate completely. Look, until I actually get to that point, I don't really know. I ain't sealing all this stuff down yet until I figure that bit out anyway, so. Right, just got to take the screws out now and think about where I'm heading on this. Definitely need to get rid of that hole. It's just not big enough. I mean, I don't even have to put it there, but honestly it don't look right without it. You see what I mean? It just don't look right. It needs some shape. Even if I just glass, you know, cut along that line where I originally was going to go, and then join these two together because they're on a slope, and the same with the back. You know, even if I was to do that, that would be something. Okay, all screwed. Oh no, they're not. I missed one. Missed one. That's a crime. How they got past me, that one. Now they're all gone. Yep. Right, so that's now ready for sanding and laying the inside. However, there is the option, I suppose, of not bothering with any of that and just having an open canoe, you know, like a Canadian canoe. We could do that. It is an option, big option, because all I need to do is put wood around the outside, wood around the inside, a seat position inside, so that could be like a wooden frame glassed in, with a couple of struts running across made of allier summit with the material that we spoke about laid in over the top. I mean, talk about laziness. I mean, just jump in it, literally jump in it, a couple of cross braces, and then just put all my gear in and just jump in it and go. Obviously flotation stuff would need to be added to it as well, which I was going to do anyway, and we can still do the motor at the back, which might not be a bad idea, because I think the ram to lift this thing up and down is going to have to go in at the bottom and come up, so when it goes down and there might have to be a slit cut in it, and we spoke about sealing the back end off, didn't we? So water will get in, not a lot I can do about it. We don't want water in the electrics. So yeah, that trolling motor at the moment is proving a little bit troublesome. The only other thing I can think of is to build the motor so far out, so instead of putting a plate here, put the plate way out here, and then I could put the ram on the side here and then flip it, or on top and flip it that way. I think that might be the better way in doing it. What I've got planned will still work, and keep the bracket but take the spring clip off, because the spring clip has broken. That's the reason why it's getting an electric ram. I've tried to figure a way around it and I can't find spares for that, so yeah, why not? Why not? Well, a quick update, if we do go with the panels, the wife's just found me a tub, and although we won't be using the handles and the latches, if I was to fill in that line there smoothly, okay, I can laminate. Well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, inside or out. Outside would be better, actually, thinking about it. So we just need to take the handle out, fill that, and then we can glass over the top of that, glass the inside of this halfway around and overlap the fiberglass, and then when we pull it out, we'll have an exact replica of that. We can then put on the inside edge a seal all the way around, like so, and then we can run two straps over the top, no floor, because if we cut a hole out, we can then sink that into the hole on that, And then what we do is we turn this over and we clean this mess up. This really is in bad state, this old canal. I'm glad I pulled it apart, because to be honest with you, cool, somebody's hit a rock. A big old repair there. So we cut a hole out basically, and we sink it in, and then we trim it all the way around, and then we have an access panel that's waterproof. Once we bulkheaded it off, the same on the front, bulkheaded it off, cut a new hole out on this one as well, so we make 2 of those, if we can get them apart without wrecking that plastic. We'll make 3 lids in total, so we've got a spare lid. Actually, we better make 4 lids, thinking about it. Everything will be fine. Then we just, what I was thinking of doing was running a piece of aluminium like that through the middle, across, and I was going to make, with some hinges, throttle type, car throttle type stuff, but not for throttle. It's to steer the outboard, so you put your foot on both of those like stirrups and you can move it in. On the regular ones I've got a run along here with a foot, and it moves in and out, so when you push that one forward, that one automatically goes back, but we don't need to be doing that. So yeah, we can then have the controller here for the speed, and we can steer this very comfortably. And I found a net, elasticated net, so I will possibly, to straighten this all out, put some mahogany wood or oak wood, whichever I can find, across, so we've got a little bit of a platform to put the luggage on, and then we'll put some stainless hooks in on one side, but on this side we'll just bolt through with stainless bolts and a stainless clip over the top to hold it permanently in place. And I've just literally scored, the lady has just dropped them off, Mrs. Newton, I can't remember her first name. The chappie who sold me the kayak, the other kayak, gave me that. But this lady just advertised these on Facebook Marketplace, and they're brand new, £15 each. Now I don't know what these are in the shop, I haven't got a clue. I bought them because I need them, because I've got a lot of equipment that I've got to stow away, and clothing, camera equipment needs to stay perfectly dry. So this is perfect. I'm assuming that is how you do those. There is some instructions, and I'm glad there is, because when I looked at these, I don't know what to do with these. So once I've sorted them out, I'll either put them in proper rucksacks, or I'll put minimal items in so as I can get them inside there, which is going to be very minimum because that gap is not very big. If I could have another one of these tubs but longer, would be ideal. Oh boy, would that be ideal, because the bulkhead's going to go down to a slope on the front, which is this side. Duh. Yeah, the bulkhead will go in at a slope to give me a little bit more leg room. That one's probably adequate. See, if I left this as an open canoe like that, but you know, put sufficient strength in it, like add some wooden frames, glass those in, put a frame all the way around on the inside and another one on the outside, couple of cross braces wherever they need to go, probably at this point here where I've marked for the tilt. Where's the other one? There. One there, one there. Then, yeah, because the seat could go roughly about there. And then I can throw all the crap in the front. And I could build this up flat as well. So when my dog is better and I want to bring him with me, it's got somewhere to sit. Then again, I might just get another canoe and do this all over again in a few years' time if he's been fixed. The way he is at the moment, no, there's no way I'd take him. No way. God, I really need that dog. Anyway, we'll get the GoFund page started very soon. I think this canoe build on its own is worthy on the channel. So I might start a new channel tonight, and then next weekend we'll start the GoFund, and then we'll start pointing people towards the channel. because I think the first stage, the part 1, will be driving up to the River Gipping and just walking some of the area that I can't canoe. Please understand, I am 55. I do have arthritis in the knees and in my shoulder. I'm not in the best of health. I'm just not. I'm overweight, massively overweight, obese as they call it. So doing what, I think his name's Ed Pratt, I think, doing what he's doing, going through canals, you know, ditches, climbing through, under, I can't do that. It takes me half an hour to get up, for crying out loud. I know I'm going to get myself into trouble with this. I ain't got no strength. Yeah, anyway. So what I was going to do was drive to the source, film that, and then look on Google Maps, see where the nearest roads is, and try and follow the trail on the map, pulling into various stops until we hit an area that is navigable. Okay, on the next video, we are going to make the brackets for the outboard to go on. We are going to use scrap, all the scrap I can find, so we're going to utilise these. So we're going to cut one of them in half, poke it through the back of the stone, so we shall cut a hole purposely for that job through there, and then we'll have a cross brace which will bolt through here with stainless bolts, and then we'll glass that piece in at the back, which is going to go up at an angle. Then we'll cut it flush, and then we'll put some angle brackets on, aluminium, and a big plate, and the outboard can drop onto that with an electric ram, possibly, going across to here, mounted onto there, so as we can lift the thing up and down. I will also, where have I put it? There it is. Utilise this pipe work, which has got a good sized diameter, to go over the tube, because we're cutting all of this off, and we're going to extend all the wires, so that will go over the top. Thus we'll sealant up inside, and then we've got another one of these which will be fitted to the hull somewhere close, and that will go on there like that, so that can all flex. And then the battery will be mounted behind the seat, just down there. We'll make up a tray for that. I'm not quite sure at the moment how, but we'll make a tray for that so it don't move around. That will be what do you call it, strapped in, which I've got a strap for, and we've got to put some bracing on that, because that's got to go a lot higher up, and then we'll mount all of that, bulkhead that off. And then the front one, we're going to cut some kind of hole out in the middle, frame it, make a lid for that, and we get all our stuff in the front, hinge it, and that'll also get latched down so that can't move, and sealed, and again bulkheaded in. The outboard will have a bar go across when I can figure out how to make this here bar, and then we'll have some possibly foot controls on cables. Haven't quite got my head around that bit yet. But yeah, we really haven't. So that's my plan, and that is for the next video.